guys, welcome back. Thank you for joining me. If you're new here, welcome. If you are a return person, thank you for joining me again. I just talk about my life experiences and my opinion, and I know everyone has one, but I have one as well, and this is my YouTube channel, so I will share it. Today I was going through my prop shop and I came across my Wendy's uniforms. I've got a couple t-shirts and crew shirts. I thought I had more, but this one was my favorite because it was purple, and that was my favorite color. So, in my manager name tag, and I've got pins that we had. This is my privilege, and my just be nice pin, my Wendy's salad pins, the Muppet movie when it came out, so still got that. The Wendy's on a snowflake. Of course, my Employee of the Month pin. I was always really good. And this one I hadn't even taken out of the package, but it's a Wendy's spatula for the grill skill. I worked for Wendy's off and on from high school to college, when I needed to have a job working opposite my husband, or when I didn't have a husband and needed the money to survive, but I needed a weird schedule because my son had school and I had to pick him up and drop him off. So Wendy's has always been my go-to job because it's flexible hours and I know it already. I was always a cash register coordinator type person. I actually liked making sandwiches or doing grill because you got to move around a lot more. But in my many years of experience, there have been some customers that stand out rather well for very odd reasons. The first one I can remember, I had just graduated high school, so it was in between that. And he came through the drive-thru, and at my high school job, it was attached to a Days Inn hotel. And so we had the whole parking lot of the Days Inn parking lot for people to line up. And it was near the airport as well. And so we were always really busy. And I had a customer come through and I gave him his food and said thank you very much, and he pulled forward. Well, he stopped and checked his sandwich, and there was something on there that he didn't want. Now, I as the cash register person, I can put it in there, and it was on his ticket, but I'm not the one, most of the time, who makes the sandwich. So, I'm just the bearer of food and change. But he actually got out of his car and walked up to the window between myself and the next customer and proceeded to rip me a new one for getting his sandwich wrong. And all the reasons why it should have been right, and he's on his break, and he had to sit in line for 15 minutes, and just in my face, yelling. And I, as a teenager, was very shy and very in a shell. And so I had to walk away. I burst into tears and walked away because he had just, it just drained me of, I was embarrassed. I was being yelled at. I was scared. I didn't know if he was going to jump in the window and grab me by the collar or what. And it just, that warm, hot feeling you feel when all the blood raises to your face and you feel cornered and attacked almost. That was one of the worst customers I have ever dealt with. And that was, 35 years ago? And it's still, he had a double cheese. And something was wrong with it, but I remember it was a double cheese. And then we had a customer come through, and he said, how much are your 9-piece nuggets? Now, I know now they have different increments, but this was years ago when we had 6 and 9. And I told him, and I don't remember the prices off the top of my head. I think it was like $3.49 for a 9-piece. We had a 5-piece and a 9-piece. McDonald's had 6-piece. And now we have 6, but but he came through and he said, how much is a 9-piece chicken nugget? And I was like, well, it's $3.49. He's like, well, I only have $1.25. And I was like, well, you can get a 5-piece chicken nugget. It's 99 cents, and plus tax, it'll be $1.10. So you can do that. And he's like, but I don't want 5. I want 9. And I'm like, well, then you're going to have to come up with $3.49 plus tax. He's like, but I don't have that much. And I was like, sir, this is not eBay. You cannot bid and offer us a lower amount. What is on the menu board is what it's going to cost. So he gave in and got a 5-piece, but and that was one of my more saucy comebacks, because sometimes you, as the headset operator, it's surprising how many people come through the drive-thru, and they're just ridiculously stupid. I know as fast food workers, people have the inclination to believe that we're not as intelligent. Not true. I'm a college graduate. It was just something that I had to do to work opposite my son's school schedule. And but anyways, we had a vengeful wife come in, and it was late. This was when I was in college, and it was at night, so there wasn't a whole lot of people there, and I was in the front. I was order taking in the front, and she came in. She says, I'll have this, and she rattled off her order, and then give me 2 kids meals, and I would like to have a double cheese combo, and could you please spit in that for me? And I was like, I'm sorry? It's not really one of the condiments we offer. And she's like, yes, I'm serious. Spit in that hamburger. And I didn't know what to say. I was like, I have never. I've heard people accuse fast food workers of spitting in their food, but I had never seen it, and I certainly have never done it. And she was like, no, I'm serious. Spit in that cheeseburger. It's for my husband, whom I just came from his office, he said he was working late, and what he was actually doing is getting a blowjob from his secretary. Oh, can I say that? I don't know, I'll have to check. But I caught him with his secretary. And I was like, okay. And I went to the grill person and sandwich maker. I was like, this lady wants us to spit in her husband's food because she caught him cheating. And Terry, I can remember, Terry's like, I'll do it. I was like, well, just wrap that one differently so we know which one it is. And I can't remember whether he actually did it or not. But she was very adamant and requesting that we did that. So, not that we normally do that, we don't. And when I was in high school, I remember, because we were, again, near the airport, we got a lot of teams that would come through for like the college basketball and football and I don't know, we had a lot of groups come in. And I can remember this college basketball basketball team came in, and I know they played basketball. I know they played basketball because they were all taller than me, and I'm 5'10". So to have a huge amount of customers all be like 6'4" and above, you know, obviously they play basketball. But I was working on the salad bar and, you know, wiping it down, making sure everything was cool. And this one guy said, hey lady, you got a cat in your dining room? I'm like, yeah, whatever. I thought they were joking. And he's like, no, seriously, it's right there. And around the corner of the salad bar came this little calico kitten that somebody had just dropped off in our dining room. And it was so cute. And I'm not normally a cat person, but she was cute. And she looked like she had been abused because one of her eyes was like in the back of her head or something. And she actually had a weevil, and it was pushing the eye out of the way. But I asked my manager if I could just put her in one of the clean trash bins back there, and I put a bread tray over it so she couldn't jump out. And I took her home. And of course, I named her Wendy. And she was a great cat. She went through several moves with us, and she lived to be about 17. So, cute little cat. But yeah, somebody dropped her off in the dining room. And then back in college, this guy came through and he ordered his food, and it was him and his buddy in the car. The kind of, you know, the type, the young jerk who thinks they're on top of the world for no reason. And he was sitting in line. He had already ordered, and he was sitting in line because we were busy. Well, the drive-thru was busy. The dining room, not so much. But there were cops in the dining room having their meal, and we gave a discount for police officers if they ate in the dining room. Just, you know, one, to say thank you, and two, it's a deterrent. Nobody wants to rob a store where there's 4 armed policemen sitting there. And this guy who was sitting in the drive-thru got out and started urinating on our building. And I was like, really? You can't hold it? You can't come in and use our bathroom? You have to pee right there? And I was like, no. I went out to the dining room and I said, is it against the law for someone to pee on a public building? And they were like, yes it is. And I was like, well, there's a guy outside who just dropped trowel and he's peeing on the building. They all four got up and went out to see what was going on. It turned out that he had some weapons in his trunk that he did not have permits for, and he was drunk and underage. So he saw the cops in the dining room and he's like, I'm not going in there. I might be busted. Well, he was. You're welcome. Thank you for choosing Wendy's. But, and there were a lot of crazy customers, you know, the customers that order this huge meal, triple cheese, biggie size, and then a large Diet Coke. As if the calories they save on drinking that Diet Coke is going to make up for this huge triple cheese hamburger with everything on it and fries and ketchup and ugh. But yeah, those are the customers that they stick in your mind and you're like, why am I working here? But it's interesting. So anyways, those are a few of my tales from Wendy's. And if you've ever worked fast food, you know you get some crazy people that come through the drive-thru. And the dining room. It really doesn't matter. But those are a few of my stories.